I have the newest release for Malifaux here, the second edition Malifaux book. It is just been released at Gen Con in the middle of August. It's the 1st of September right now. I just got it a few days ago. But this is their revision on Malifaux. You can see it's a fairly thick book. It is 284 pages. And you got the cover art with a kind of a steamwork bell tower there. You have a gunslinger here on the front, or a mercenary of some sort. The back cover, you're going to get the sales pitch on the back. A little bit of art of a crow. I'm just going to take a flip through it. I may not focus too much on anything in particular. So you get a little cover intro. You're going to get your credits, and then you get a table of contents. You're going to have the basics of a Malifaux. Like models, the cards, how to measure. You're going to get the core mechanics with how the duels work. Then you're going to get through the turns of the game and how that works with movement and standard encounters and the story encounters. And then you're going to get the breakdowns of all the different factions. They have expanded to include the Gremlins and the Ten Thunders as their own factions now. And it looks like they do have stories in between all the chapters. Camera does not want to cooperate. So to start out, you get a brief history of the happenings in Malifaux up to the present time. You get a layout map of the actual city. You're going to get another story. Pretty good linked stories in here. And then you're going to get the overview. And this is basically an overview of what a miniatures game is and some different terminology you're going to be needing to know. You're going to get the anatomy of the card. They have changed their card layout. So you see it's just a front and back card. So they're going to give you an anatomy of all the things on that card. So when they refer to them later, you'll know what you're going to be doing. Goes through the upgrade cards. They've added these new upgrade cards to all the different factions that allow you, they have restrictions on who they can belong to and how much they cost, and they add abilities to the character or model. It explains, what Soulstorms are, factions, how it uses cards instead of dice. Your still more explanation of cards, how you're going to be measuring in the game, what a Soulstone is, and how it works with the game. And you're going to get into the mechanics of duels and how the flips work and the modifiers for that. And that's going to go on for a few pages. And then you're going to get into the actual playing of the game. You're going to go through the turn sequence, draw phase, initiative phase, activation phase, and end phase. And then it breaks down each one of those things in more detail. It's going to go into some of your rules, like the cover, any special rules. You can see they've kind of made a change to some of the art. I believe this is one of the Ronin now. They've gone with a little bit different style. The Victorious crew kind of have that goth punk look to them now. You get into damage and healing and what buried means and all the markers. Get into all the special rules. There's what candy looks like now. different conditions, characteristics. We have upgrades, and it looks like you have manifestation cards and avatar upgrades here. So I don't remember seeing any avatar cards, but I'm not sure. And then you get into the encounters for how you're going to set up to actually play the game. So define and place terrain, determine encounter size, announce factions, determine deployment, determine strategy and available schemes, hire and reveal crew, choose and reveal schemes, and deploy crews. And it's going to explain all of that stuff. Looks like we have a nice piece of art of the guild fighting some Resers. And this is deployment, schemes, how to hire your crews and deploy your crews, what do you need to do to win the encounter. And then you're going to have some story encounters here, and it works basically the same way with just different actual terrain pieces and everything else. So you have some different scenarios here that can be played, and it goes through the different steps you need to set up and play each one of those scenarios. So quite a few pages of them. I think that's the judge now. No, not the judge. That's one of the Ortegas, the one with the minigun. You can see there's another picture of the Ronin. There's the picture of the nurse. There's a picture of a death marshal. And then you're going to get another story. There's another one of the Ortegas. So this is the story that's going to lead into the guild. And then you're going to get a breakdown of each of the characters here. So you see you're going to get a little story about that character, and then you're going to get the breakdown of the cards. They do have decks of cards available for this stuff. And I'll unbox those after a while to show you the cards. I've already opened the Gremlins ones, and I believe the cards you're going to get in these Arsenal boxes are going to be the exact same cards in here. And so it's only going to be the cards from this book. It's not going to include any cards for anything else, I don't believe. Or at least the Gremlins one did. So you get Lady Justice as a master. You're going to get Sonya Crid as a master. You can see now she's got kind of a Destro mask going on. I don't know if that's a full mask or a half mask. You have Perdita, Ortega. So it looks like they've gone back to the same kind of formula as in the first book when they released. You're going to get 3 masters and then different things that can go with that. These look to be the henchmen for the guild. So you have Francisco Ortega, Samuel Hopkins, and the judge. And then you have the different totems. You have the governor's proxy, and he's generic. You have Perdita's, which is an enslaved Nephilim. The purifying flame, which goes with Sonya. And the scales of justice, which goes with Lady Justice. So you can see they give the cards for each one of the things and just a little story. So not a whole lot of room taken up with each character. And then you get Death Marshals, the Executioner. Let me try that. The Guild Austringer and a Guild Guard. You have the Peacekeeper. The Lone Marshal. This does look to be a new model. I do not recall that from any of the previous books. And you have a Witchling Stalker. You have Nino Ortega, Papa Loco, and Santiago Ortega. And then that's all the actual models that they have included in this book. But then you get some upgrade cards here. And these are General Guild upgrade cards. So you have a few different ones there, 5. And they have a few restrictions, like this one is only for Henchman, Master, or Rare 1. This one's only for Leader or Limited. For a Leader, Rare 3. Henchman or Enforcer, Living, Rare 3. So then you have Marshal upgrades, and most of these look like they're for Lady Justice. You get 1 for the Judge, and looks like you get 1 for a Marshal. You have the Witch Hunter upgrades, which is Sonya's crew. And most of the ones that are actually for the particular crew, most of them go to the Master. The Henchman usually gets 1, and then it looks like you usually get 1 generic. That looks to be the formula. And then you get a page of upgrades for the Ortegas. I'm going to go into a Resur story. You're going to get Seamus. You're going to get McMorning. And you're going to get Nicodem. You can see they're kind of changing the art on these. You can kind of see. And then you have Nicodem. You kind of come over here, and there's Madame Sybil. She's got a much more bloated art to her. And she's going to be Seamus's henchman. Then you have Sebastian and Mortimer. And those are the henchmen for McMorning and Nicodem, respectively. You're going to get your different totems. You have the Copycat Killer, a Zombie Chihuahua, a Vulture, and a Graveyard Spirit. We have Bete Noir, Canine Remains, Crooked Men, and a Flesh Construct, Mindless Zombies, Necropunks, and Nurse, Punk Zombie, Rotten Bells, The Hang. And you're going to get some generic upgrades for the Resurs. It's like about 6 of those. Some upgrades for the Red Chapel gang. Some upgrades for the Morgue. And some upgrades for the Graveyard gang. That's McMorning and Nicodem. You're going to get an Arcanist story. I'll start going a little faster. I believe that's Joss, maybe. The art on him. You get a Resputina, Marcus, and Ramos. You get Miranda, Joss, Kojo. This looks like a new character that goes with Marcus. They have an Enforcer tagline there. Kind of a big gorilla. I don't remember if there was a gorilla previously or not. You get the Ice Golem. You're going to get the totems here, a Wendigo, a Jackalope, Brass Arachnid, Essence of Power. You have a December Acolyte, an Electrical Creation, a Horcat Pride, Howard Langston, and this looks to be the what was it called? The Steamboard thing, the big thing with the arachnid looking legs and the top body of a person. But that is Howard Langston now, so I guess he's more of a rare 1, so I'm not sure. You're gonna get Ice Gammon, Metal Gammon, Mole Man, Rail Golem, Razor Spine Rattler, Sabertooth Cerebus, Steam Arachnid Swarm. And then you're going to get generic upgrades for Resputina, upgrades for Marcus, upgrades for Ramos's crew. You get the Neverborn story. You're going to get Lilith, Pandora, and Zoraida. You get Candy. Barbaros is now like a named 40mm Nephilim. I know it says 30 here, but I think they're put out there's going to be an errata on that, these 40. And Bad Juju is now a henchman. I don't remember if he was in the past or not. You're going to have their totems. You have the Cherub, the Poltergeist, the Voodoo Doll, and Primordial Magic. You get Baby Cade, Teddy, a Beckoner, a Doppelganger, a Mature Nephilim, a Silurid, Sorrows. Let's see some artwork for a Sorrow. You have Terror Tots, a Waldgeist, some artwork for a Nephilim, and then you're going to have the Young Nephilim. The generic upgrades, Lilith's upgrades, Pandora's upgrades, and Zoraida's upgrades. You're going to get into the Outcast here. You can see there's some more new art. What's his name? Although I do not see him as a master in here now. I forget his name. But you get their story. And Von Schill is now a master. If he wasn't already, but he replaces the other guy whose name I can't remember. I just showed you the picture of him. But he wasn't one of the original masters for the Outcasts. You're going to get another new lady here, Tara. She's an undead master for the Outcast. It looks like she's dual faction. And you get Victoria of the Ashes. You're going to get their henchman, which is Hannah for the Free Corps, the Nothing Beast for Tara, Victoria of Blood for Victoria, and Taylor is a henchman. She is actually in the new Victoria's box set, so I guess she's the generic henchman though. Although these don't say they're specific to them, so I don't guess it matters. But the totems are, you have Karina, she's the totem for Tara. Steam Trunk, it's a totem for Von Schill. You can see it's kind of a trunk on tracks. We have a Student of Conflict, the totem for a mercenary, so it's not specific, and neither is the Malifaux Child. You have Bishop, Convict Gunslinger, Desperate Mercenary, Free Corps Specialist, and Free Corpsman. Hans, Johann, that looks like a new character. It may not be though. You have Killjoy, Ronan, and Void Wretches. This is a new character and it's out with Tara, or a new model. You're going to get the generic upgrades, Von Schill's upgrades, Tara's upgrades, and the Victoria upgrades. You're going to get a nice story on the Gremlins, and you're going to get Summer Teeth. You're going to get Ophelia. You're going to get a new one here, the Brewmaster. Kind of has an Asian look to it. It does look like it's dual faction 10 Thunders. So then you have their they have their thing. You have Gremlin the Tri-Chi, Gremlin the Kin, and then just generic Gremlin. So then we have these. You have Francois Lacroix, who's a Kin, Fingers, who's part of the Tri-Chi, Lenny, who's just a Gremlin, and then a Whiskey Golem, who's part of the Tri-Chi. The two Tri-Chi figures look like they're both new, so they'll probably be in a new box set. You have a Skeeter, and it looks like they've kind of changed the concept to how that looks a little less cartoony. You have a Young LaCroix, that's the totem for Ophelia. The Skeeter was the totem for Summerteeth. And you have an Apprentice Wesley, who's the totem for the Brewmaster. You're going to get Bayou Gremlins, a Hog Whisperer, a Moon Shinobi, that's for the new Tri-Chi, Pigapults, Piglet, Slop Hauler, War Pig, Pierre Ravage, Remy LaCroix, and Raphael LaCroix. Then you get the general upgrades, Summer Teeth's upgrades, the Tri-Chi, the Brewmaster's upgrades, and the Ophelia, the Kin's upgrades. Then you have the last story here that's going to be the 10 Thunder story. You're going to have Misaki as a master. She's dual faction Outcasts. Mei Fang is a master. She's dual faction Arcanist. I don't think they're going to be releasing new models for these because they're already part of their plastics range. You have Jacob Lynch, who's dual factioned Neverborn. And then you're going to have some of their henchmen of Toto, Kang, and Yamaziko are their henchmen. You have some totems here, and Shang is the nine-tailed fox, I think. That's Misaki's. You have an Emberling, which is Mi Fang's. And you have the Hungering Darkness, which is Jacob Lynch's. You're going to have a Dawn Serpent. I do not remember this. This looks like a new model. Fuhatsu. That looks like a guy with a big minigun. That looks like a new model. We have a Monk of the Low River. That also looks like that's going to be a new model. You have the Oran, they're already out. A Rail Worker, they're already out. You have the Illuminated, they already have models out for that. You have the 10 Thunders Archers and the Torakaje. There's already models for those. Then you have the Samurai here, which looks like it's going to be a newer model. And it also looks like a minigun style weapon. Although he looks like he kind of has a... It says he's living, but it looks like he has kind of an undead look to him. Then you're going to have the general 10 Thunder upgrades. Misaki's upgrades. Mi Fang's upgrades. And then Jacob Lynch's upgrades. And you'll finish out the book with a story here. Some art of the Whiskey Golem. Some art of a mole man, and it's got a little bit of an index. So that's a look through the Malifaux 2nd edition book. A little long-winded, but I hope it helps so you can get an idea of what's going to be included in this first book. I'll go through the Arsenal decks too, so you can see that pretty much I think the cards that are going to be in the Arsenal decks are the same ones that are shown in here.